we call them dugouts. Basically people would call them ice ponds or whatever, but because they're for our animals at home, so they'd freeze obviously in the winter, and I'd go shovel them off and we'd go skate on those. I think the world's really changing in the way of, especially farming. If that was an option to just grow up and farm and do it that way, which it probably would have been, yeah, awesome. But I've always got that kind of to fall back on. For my wife, they weren't as much into farming as we were. They had like a hog industry. They're in the pork business, where we're into the cattle, and we're trying to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and we're doing pretty good. But I mean, when you're only me, my brother, my mom and dad, but basically my brother, my mom and dad for 8 months of the year, you know, it gets pretty tough. The first time I left home was when I was 16, but that was just to go play midgets. And I was gone there for half a year, and then I went to Vancouver junior hockey when I was 17, and that's when I was basically gone for good. So yeah, I had billets right away, very nice people. Moved in, really enjoyed my time there. It's really different, I mean, moving under a new roof when you're so used to your parents and everything, but I think it's a big respect factor, right? You're going in, these people are taking you in. Should be very appreciative. But it was great. I love Vancouver. We lived just on the outside in Tsawwassen, and it was a great experience from West Coast to East Coast kind of thing. So, and well, ever since about 4 years ago now, I haven't been home for Christmas since, just because getting just too far away. Now I have my wife and my son, and it's a little bit harder to travel. And breaks aren't that long in pro hockey when you only have 3 days. At least in junior we had at least a week to 10 days. So that's easy, and it's an easy flight from Vancouver to home. It's not too easy from Portland, Maine. So. I've got a pretty special wife. She explained it to me one day. She said, you know what? She's like, this is my job at home. You have a job to work on the ice. And I mean, I help as much as I can when I come home from the rink and stuff. But at night, you know, I mean, if I got up to help, lots of times she'd just send me back and say, hey, you can't feed them. So I love to help, but she's kind of taking it on that's her job. And you don't want to get in that way, a little bit stubborn that way. We've always been very good together, like cooking and stuff. I love cooking. We've always worked together on that, or I'll feed him because he's starting to eat food now. I'll feed him, and it's quite fun. You always wondered, like, why is it such a mess when you feed your kid? Oh, you sure figure it out fast why it is. He's whacking your hand and smacking. Yeah, it's great. But yeah. I just try and do as much as I can around the house when I get home, and she knows I need to relax a little bit too, and she needs to relax that's the biggest thing about living so far away from your families is it's hard, especially at this age of his life. You don't really have a babysitter or you know, your family to come over and help you a little bit. So date night would be nice once in a while, but we make with what we have do.
Yeah, really. I mean, yeah.
Nice to meet you. And I'm Brent.
It's not the night for going out, whistling past the murder house on my march of days, till this whole town's ablaze. Outside myself I stand appalled, I drop the match, your hopes light up like paper dolls. As one goes, so do